Boys are all decked out in their Christmas gear. They got pants and shirts and awesome nature vests and awesome rain boots and cool Nerf balls to bring with them this morning. Grandma and Gigi spoiled y'all, huh? And all your aunts and uncles. You got lots of fun stuff. And now we're headed down to the barn to do chores, and their daddy has promised that their new scooters from their uncle are all put together and ready for them, so they're super excited. I hope that you all had a really Merry Christmas and fun time with your family and got to experience some good food and fun. What did you find, Liam? He found an egg! That's a duck egg! That's the same spot I found one the other day. Yeah. That's perfect. Oh, they are laying again. I'm so happy. We got to make sure we cull those other two males that are not in Kana so we can get ready for hatching some so we can have pure anaconda. What do you think of that?
Good.
Anaconda, not anaconda. Oh. Rowan, you can get this one. Okay. Let Rowan get it.
Okay.
Oh, how exciting too. Oh, yay.
That's cleaner than that one.
Yeah, that one is a little cleaner. Those ducks like to lay their eggs in the mud, huh?
Yeah.
Good job, boys.
How do we wash this?
How do you wash it? We wash it before we break it open. We don't wash our eggs when we collect them because there's a natural protective bloom on the outside of the egg that the hen lays on the egg that protects it from bacteria. Oh my goodness. We have 5 eggs this morning in the teenage quail coop. That's crazy. We only had 2 the last 2 days. Today there's 5. I'm excited. Boys are having so much fun playing with all their new things, and I can't wait to play with my new thing because Santa was very good to me this year, and I got the #1 thing on my wish list. I got my Weed Dragon flame torch weeding tool. Yes! Unfortunately, today is the only nice day in the next 10-day forecast, and I do not have time today to break it out and weed with it. I really want to. But we have Ryan's grandmother coming by to meet our goats. She's in town from Florida, so we're going to hurry up with our chores and get ready for a visit with her. And as soon as the rain clears up after these next 10 days, I can't wait to have fun destroying the creeping Charlie in my garden. Oh, it's gonna be heaven. And the nice thing is about the flame torch weeder is it doesn't go down to the root zone with the heat, so it doesn't harm any plants under the soil, like the asparagus. So I can go right across that bed. Of course, not holding the torch too long in one spot. It's gonna be a skill I'm gonna have to get used to, but I can't wait to burn them all. Another great gift that I got for the holidays was that Ryan got to do a lot of the chores for me. On Christmas morning, he did the chores for me. On the weekend, he did the chores for me. He did end up working Christmas Eve, so I had to do the chores that day. But it was really nice to have a break from the monotonous routine. I don't necessarily very often want a break from my animals because I love them to death and enjoy working with them very much, but it is nice to get a break from what you do every day, day in and day out, and so that was nice. The only problem is he kind of left things in shambles. There's like paper towels all over the floor, you know, just little things that I have to go back through and kind of catch everything back up to the way I keep things. So it's great to have somebody looking after the animals for me, but it's also great to get back into my own routine. Case in point, one of the things I do differently probably than Ryan is that I feed the bucks a lot of hay. They were done with the first feeding of hay before I'm even done milking goats. That never happens. They usually have hay till I'm done bringing everybody out. and they're still eating. I just had to refill their feeder. So there's a good likelihood that Ryan was slightly underfeeding them on their hay portion. It's really important that all goats get a lot of food. Goats need to have 5% of their body weight per day in hay. And hay should very much so be free choice off the ground to prevent parasites and listeria. Listeria can kill your goats, so can parasites. So it's very important that you have a receptacle that you put your food into for your animals. If you don't, you could be causing them great harm or even death. So yeah, they knock it down onto the ground out of the basket sometimes, but these goats really, their instinct kicks in and they won't eat that hay. Some people say that bucks or wethers don't need grain. That's also a misnomer. It is perfectly good to feed your bucks and wethers grain, even alfalfa. Alfalfa is actually preferred because the thing that causes urinary calculi is not grain or alfalfa. It is an improper balance of the calcium to phosphorus ratio. Calcium to phosphorus ratio should remain at a 2-to-1 ratio up to a 4-to-1 ratio for the optimum health for all goats. And that includes wethers and bucks. Wethers and bucks tend to develop urinary calculi if the phosphorus is too high. Alfalfa is calcium, so it actually helps prevent urinary calculi, which is strange because there are so many people out there that are saying alfalfa causes urinary calculi, and that is very untrue. When I first started with goats, I was told that, and I probably have said it even in a video in my early days, but now I know better, and now I do better. Go ahead and give those goats alfalfa hay, alfalfa grain, and you don't have to grain your goats unless their body condition score is low and they need more grain. And if they're in milk, they need more grain. If they're growing youngling, they need more grain. If they're pregnant, the end of pregnancy, they need more grain. But some people are able to do just hay and forage for their goats, depending on the breed, depending on where you live, but you always have to make sure that that calcium to phosphorus still stays at a perfect level. So just like Ryan and I do things differently, many goat owners and goat herds do things differently. But there are some basic principles that can't be ignored by any goat keepers and are a universal rule. Calcium to phosphorus is one of them, and not feeding off the ground is another. So make sure that if you have any friends or family that have goats that are not paying attention to those two things, that you give them a good little friendly lesson on ways to keep their animals healthy. Y'all, I can't believe that Rosemary is not pregnant. That stomach is huge. And there's no indication of pregnancy. I never did feel the kids. And she never developed an udder. And then she came into heat. Sorry to disappoint you guys. Hopefully next year I'll be doing blood draws for pregnancy to be a little bit more concrete in my decision-making process of who's pregnant and not. I don't understand. She's so big. I'm thinking she might have a ghost pregnancy. I had a friend, Bama Homestead. He had a ghost pregnancy with one of his does, and she got real big, showed every indication, but she uddered up. This one is not even doing that. Oh well, I just hope that Daisy's bred, and I hope that Fancy Girl's bred, and that Kitty was most likely one that I think is bred. So if not, we're not having any goats, at least not at a normal time this year. Sometimes when nature intervenes like this, I start to wonder if it's not God's will. taking a role. Yeah, I want goats and milk. Yeah, I want baby goats on the ground. But maybe there's a larger, more specific purpose for me in this coming spring than just the goats. Maybe it's because I have to focus on the garden more. Maybe it's because I have something else coming up that I don't even know about yet. So I try to move through these challenges gracefully and accept them for what they are. And if it means nobody's bread and no milk, so be it. Now, I could put Bo in with these girls and he would get the job done, but they've all already produced an offspring from Bo. I really, really want fluffernutter babies. So hoping he's just a little too short, and that as he gets a little bit bigger, you know, Nubians will grow 5 years. 5 years before they're at their full size. So he's got a couple more years of growth in him. So that could be part of it. And he was definitely a lot smaller than the other goats when I picked him up. Out of the herd that I got him from, he was the tiniest. So he might just be a smaller stature goat, which is not necessarily what I wanted, but I'm just gonna keep my eye out for a nice big Nubian buck from really good milk lines. Don't tell Ryan I'm looking, but I'm looking. He doesn't believe we need another buck. I believe we need to keep our genetics as pure and good as possible. And having good bucks is the best way to do that, for sure. All right, I just was looking at the sizes of these 3 compartments here, and they're actually a lot bigger than I was thinking they are. Is there an egg? Do you want to get it for me?
Yeah.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the 4 in this center compartment as they are, because I'm trying to single out which one is laying the blue egg in here and which one is laying the marble egg in here. So I'm going to leave those 4. But I'm going to take these 4 and I'm going to put them in with these 4. That will free up this cage so I can begin putting the males from the teenage into here, so that we'll know when it comes time to cull, and that'll give more room in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you make your crow sound, Rowan? Do that again? You do a really good quail crow. All right, so we've got our boys separated. Not all of them. You hear one over there. That's...
Yeah.
I made sure to grab my biggest looking females of the meat makers and what appeared to be a male. And clearly I've definitely got a male in here because I keep hearing him. Oh, it looks like I might have 2 males in here. I'll have to take the smaller of the 2 out. They might fight if they're together with females. I haven't seen any eggs from these 2 yet. These are our oldest birds. They may be going on the eating list because they're older. And we just really like quail meat. And we need to make space in the cages for the rest of the new babies. We were hoping to get over to Alabama and get 2 more sets of cages from our friend Robert at Tabor Aviaries. But I don't know if we're gonna make it before these ones are gonna need to have bigger cages. There was one really big male in here that I think I'm going to save. Yeah, him. Look how big he is. Oh yes. So I think we're definitely gonna save him for breeding for the meat makers. And then there is another egg.
Yeah.
And then one of these fairy quail, we're gonna choose the best coloration for that one, because a lot of these fairy quail have what looks like some brown coloration in them, and fairy quail are not supposed to have any brown in them. So we're definitely gonna have to be careful in our selection of a male for breeding. These guys have had a lot more space to move around, which should help with the egg production. They're so cute. Look at them, 3 of them sleeping in the bowl together. These beautiful quail from my Shire Farms have so many beautiful colors. I am just loving how they are developing. We've got some good variety in here of beautiful, beautiful quail. Hopefully we have some male and females of some of the colors so that we can continue on with that coloration. If not, we can just play around and experiment with colors.
I got a quail egg all by myself, and then the quail did not escape, and it's all warm, so it was laid right before I got it.
Do you know there were 5 quail eggs in the teenage cage this morning, and I found 2 more when I was getting the males out. So I don't know if they just laid 2 more or if I just missed them the first time, but they are laying really well now. That's 7 in one day. How exciting.
Yep.
So we should go make a quail egg, scrambled eggs, huh?
Yeah.
Eat them up, yum yum.
So what about eggs, like these fat ones that I sometimes eat?
Like a fried egg?
Yeah.
Look at those babies, they're so cute. Oh, I can't wait to burn it all. Burn it all. It's gonna be fun. Cold frame is doing well. A couple of people said they thought I might have put it on upside down, the tarp part, but I didn't, alas. These are windows that you open up from the outside and tie them so that they can stay open on a nice sunny day if it gets too hot in there. But it's doing pretty good. We got our perennial fruit protected so that it can grow good and strong without any pest damage. All right, there we go. Okay, we are headed back to the house. Boys, what are you bringing with you?
My eggs.
Duck eggs! I'm pretty excited about that. You're gonna eat them up. All right, thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And
we'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. You'll know the drill. We'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots. And we don't chick eggs. We have teenager eggs.